I'm Brad King, and this is Stories in Steel. On this episode of Stories in Steel, we traveled to San Diego, California, and sat down with pinstriper and teacher Manny Cisneros. We talked about his time in the Navy, how he made a worldwide name for himself as a striper, and why he decided to become an inspiration to future generations. I don't want to go back too far because everybody kind of has the background. They were a kid. They were inspired by, whatever. But, you've been doing this for a while. You've got a little bit of experience in it.
Yeah.
So when did you first pick up a brush? I mean, what made you want to go that direction?
So I've been doing brush in 2000. A friend of mine, Jay Rodriguez, we went to high school together. He was an airbrush artist, and he was a very talented artist. He used to do art and pencil drawings and things like that. And went over to his house one day, and he had a brush sitting out, and it was actually a Leo Olfolder mop.
Oh wow!
And I don't have that brush, but I have a brush like it to this day. I still have it.
It was
the very first brush I used.
Brush.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even a real striping brush. It was like a real wide, right. It was almost like a number 2. And so I picked it up, put it in some paint. And, I never seen anybody stripe, or I never even seen Jerry stripe, but I went over and dipped it in that paint, and I kind of dragged it a little bit. And ever since that moment, I've never stopped striping. And that was like in 1999, like December of 99 when that happened. Because I've been striping since 2000.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 23 years now. And I was in the Navy at the time. We had already graduated and everything. I was visiting them, and I ended up going to the art store and buying that same brush. I didn't know there was Max. I didn't know anything about that. When I was on deployment, actually, I was practicing with that crappy brush for about 2 months. And one of the guys was like, had an Eastwood catalog, or I think there was an Eastwood ad in one of my Rod and Custom magazines or something. And that pamphlet came with that issue, and I was gonna throw it away. I'm like, I don't need to buy anything, but this kid picked it up. So he goes, "Hey, isn't this the paint you use?" And I'm like, "Let me see that." And then they sold all the one shot and all the stripe brushes.
What are these magical things?
And so I was like, I ordered like $300 worth of stuff. I waited like a month for it because we were out at sea. And I get it, and I see this pinstriping brush that's completely different from the one I was using. And I tried it, and it was way better. And ever since that moment, I was like, just locked in.
So stuck on a boat. This is how you practiced.
Every day for 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. By the time I got back, I was hanging out with the guys from the Lucky Devils in Orange County, the car club.
Okay.
I told them I knew how to stripe. I'm like, "Hey man, I stripe now." "Oh, cool, man, we can put you to use." So I started striping a bunch of the guys in the club, their cars. I striped my own car. I was trying to get into this thing completely, I primered my car, it came out horrible. And I was just trying everything on my own. I never had any help or nobody guiding me. I just did it. I just figured it out. And I would look in magazines, and I was always into all the, custom culture stuff since high school, but I just never knew that it would be something that I would be able to do.
You just liked it, thought it was kind of cool.
I loved it.
So you've never had any training then? You never, over the years, you sat down, guys go, "Hey, do this or do this." And
oh yeah, after that, I ended up working at a hot rod shop, and I met Benny Flores, who's like the most amazing lowrider painter in the world. I think he's just a craftsman, man. He's like a wizard. And he really influenced me a lot, showed me a lot, more of the paint side of things, but he showed me, balance and color theory and things like that, and graphics, and just just being around him, watching him and what he would do, with just the bare minimum, it was very influencing.
See, color theory, you talked about that. We've had a couple of people on, and that's coming to the conversation because a lot of people don't grasp this does not work with this.
Yeah.
You have to understand color and see it starts from here and it goes to here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just executing it, because I think some people really like to think about it too much and overanalyze, and so you end up with something that doesn't really work, So, he taught me that just do it, man. Just do it. Don't think about it too much. It looks good. Go with your first instinct, and that's your color, you know. So Manny influenced me, and then I started working with, like 10 years later, 12 years later, I met Bugs out of Arizona, and he introduced me to Danny D, and those guys were great teachers to me too.
Yeah. So you did hang around some talented guys.
Oh yeah.
Suck it all up there.
Yeah, after a while, I started, one of the first shops I worked at, Hot Dog was working there. Okay. You know, and so I seen his striping every day and all his flame work and everything. And this is when I was at Jerry's and I started messing around and realized like, hey, maybe there's something I could do. I mean, I myself thought I would never be able to be where I am today, you know, at that moment in time. You know, I'm like, this is just something that I want to do for fun, you know, and I enjoy it. But I started getting really good at it. So, it just, fortunately for me, like, you know, I just kept at it, you know. So, and then here I am now. I got my own shop.
20 years later.
20 years later.
So what is your thing? Obviously, you got a motorcycle. That's kind of your thing. You do a lot of motorcycles. Is that so? What is your deal?
I mean, customs is my main thing. Okay. You know, I've been a custom guy since I was in high school. I always loved customs. To me, man, I really like getting there fast, and I don't care about the traditions about it or the right way or the wrong way. I want to see it. Right. You know, I'm the type of guy that if I have vision in my head, I need to get there and as fast as I can. Because I believe that like life is just too short to be thinking about overthinking and taking your time and running into problems. It's like, dude, cut out the bullshit. Just get to where I need to be, and let me get there and enjoy it. And that's what I like. So I started with customs, and now I mostly paint Harleys now because they're easier, smaller.
But you do a lot of lowriders. You still do lowriders. You still kind of have a reputation for, because you do a lot of ornate, a lot of scrolls. And
leaf work and things like that. And I love that, like, I'm getting to the point now where my customers now just let me do what I want, you know, and I'm there now, you know. It's like people will call me, hey, stripe my car. I'm like, hey, man, you know, I just do what I want. Don't try and tell me what to do. You just tell me the colors that you like, because I want them to like the job. Right. So I just say, just give me the colors and what your idea is, and I'll try and do my best to accommodate.
See, I ask, what colors don't you like?
Yeah, no, and the lowriders are just, I love striping lowriders because they really like didn't care how much striping you did. You could totally overdo it, right. And they liked it. The more the better, you know. And so I was always that kind of striper that I could fill up a hood like no problem with flames and scallops and striping and scrolls and just everything all in one, you know, like paint throw up, you know. So so I loved it, and then you would get a lot of practice.
Sure.
You know, because I wasn't one of those dudes that went to the dealerships and did straight lines all day. You know, like toward my career, that stuff was ending.
See, that was me.
That was you.
That was me.
And Mike Lamberson and
lots of straight lines. A lot
of straight lines, man. That's how you guys got your practice. And I tried it. Yeah. When I first started striping on my own, because I went mobile in 2005 or 6. Because, you know, after I worked at Hot Rod City, I used to work at this place called Hot Rod City. And it was like a Boyd Coddington type shop. That's where Hot Dog worked. That's where I luckily landed that job, you know, because I was just naive and, you know, didn't. It's funny that, you know, I don't want to go off subject, but it's like being raised in Orange County and being around Santini and all these Chip Foose and, you know, celestial hot rod builders and painters that are just uber talented. I was just some little Mexican kid, man, that would never, I was like, how am I going to get fit here? Right. So it took me leaving Orange County to not be around that, to just do the striping and do what I wanted to do without somebody telling me that I couldn't do it, or that wasn't for me, or that I wasn't going to be able to make it.
So we're talking about cool stuff. What kind of cool projects you've done? And anything that you would go, this is one of my prouder moments of something I've been involved with. What can you think of?
Oh man, I did a guitar for Alan Jackson.
Nice.
Yep. Did a guitar for Alan Jackson. I did that Pink Impala that just came out that Steve Wilkes built. That I got the Von Dutch Award like 2 years ago at the Roadster Show.
We were actually talking about that last night. Yep. It was one of those cars we were talking about. Very nicely done, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Benny actually painted that car. Okay. Benny Flores. Yep.
So did he call you to come stripe it, or who called you?
Benny did.
That was kind of a nice phone call, wasn't it?
Oh, Benny, yeah,
I need your help.
Yeah, and he's old school, man. Benny's, he's one of the older guys that just kind of old school. Would tell you how it is. If you don't like it, he'll wipe it off. If it looks like crap, he'll let you know. And so he knew that, like, he seen that in me, that I was very accommodating and very, like, just like fresh, so he could like mold me how he wanted me. I didn't realize that coming from the Navy, because I just came from the Navy, so it's like I knew that, like, whatever they tell you to do, you do that
yes,
only.
Sir, no, sir.
Yeah, you don't do extra or you don't do the job. You need to do exactly how they tell you to do it, right? So when I went to Hot Rod City, he would tell another guy to do something, and they do it their way, or they were doing something extra, and like Benny didn't like that. He wanted a guy that whatever he told me to do, I would do it.
You were already broken. It was easy.
Exactly.
Okay. I bet he liked that, because there was no arguments.
Dude, yeah. And
all right.
Yeah, so he like had me, and then like throughout the years of knowing him, I've always done stripe work for him, and he always tell me how he wants it. He'll give me a shape. He'll be like, here, do this like this, and that's all he'll tell me. And then I just know how to do it. I could like transfer that vision. I just did a bicycle for him about 2 weeks ago, and he just puts tape on it, like the outline, and then he just has me fill it in.
This is the area.
This is the area I want you to do.
Nice.
So yeah, we've had a really good relationship, man. He actually painted this last bike, the bike that's out front here. He painted the candy for me. I was like, Benny, just do this for me, and then I'm gonna flame it. So he's like, yeah, no problem. So he painted it for me. So
you've been involved with some pretty cool projects.
Yeah. So Alan Jackson, and then the Pink Impala. I was on a TV show with on Car Warriors.
Let's talk about that. So how did that go down? And was it a lot of work?
Oh man, that moment right there is when I realized who I was, like, and what I was gonna do with my life. And that we did that in 2010. So I must have been like, I don't know, 33, 34. But we really stayed up for 72 hours, man, and worked on that truck, and tried not to sleep. And it was like I was just working, and we didn't have no clocks. We just worked on this truck, and it was like I didn't feel burnt out. I didn't feel like I wanted to quit. I just did it, man. And I was in the Navy, right? So like we would do that out to sea. Like we would just work, and you take little cat naps,
So you already had that mindset. That made it kind of easy then.
Yeah, and then plus it was something that I enjoyed. They gave us all the materials we needed. We didn't have to buy anything. It's like, man, that's kind of cool, And I was working with Bugs. I was working with Danny. And that came about because we were in Vegas. We're at SEMA, and we're walking through this hall, and it was like 12 of us. It was like me, Danny, Bugs, and then Bugs and Danny's entourage. So it was like 5 Mexican guys, over here, 5 Mexican guys over there. And we're being loud and obnoxious. And this guy, he's like, hey man, are you guys like a shop? And we're like, yeah, man, we all work together. And so he's like, oh great, hey man, you guys want to be on a TV show? And then he's like,
so that's how it happened.
Yeah,
the whole
they like recruited us at SEMA.
That's awesome.
So they took us back to this room. They interviewed us. And they were like, just be yourselves, man. Just keep clowning around and keep doing what you're doing and saying bad words and all that, And you guys are going to be like our thug shop. It was like, so it was Danny D. It was Danny D. Customs out of Arizona. Had Rhino was there, Rhino. It was
Mr. Energy.
Dude, that guy's amazing. I already knew him, so we said hello. We all knew each other, man. Me, Bugs, Danny, right. We knew Rhino. So, we're just, hey, we're going to beat you, man. We're just like playing around.
So who won?
They did. Yeah, we lost, man. But we didn't really lose. It was rigged. I have to say that.
Really?
Because their stereo didn't work. To me, I thought it was a great time. I love the experience. I understand how things work.
I like winning too much.
Bugs was so mad, dude. Bugs was so mad. He wanted to sue.
Well, you're on TV. You're getting your face out there, and you just got experience. It's just one more thing you can check off.
And how are we going to split up a truck between like 8 guys?
And you're a thug.
And we're thugs. Exactly. We're going to take a fender home.
Right.
So,
That was good. That was a good experience.
I did another job with this guy one time in Camarillo. We went to this person's house that I think their son owned Verifone or created Verifone, where you swipe your ATM card.
Right.
And they had a home theater, and we had to leaf the Triple Crown molding in the ceiling. And it was like squares and squares, because the board was like this wide, and we had a leaf in there and, glaze it all.
Using 24-hour sizing and hoping it stays.
I think we did water gild.
Did you really?
We used water-based size, yeah.
How much gold did you guys use?
Like 2 big books, like 20,000 sheets or something like that. And then I did some beams for this museum called Lax Art. This art group called Post Commodity, and there was an art instructor out of San Francisco named Cristobal, and this other art teacher named Cade Twist from Otis College. Because there was these 2 beams in this art studio on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood that had been there for, I don't know, since the 30s or something like that. Edgar from Starlight ended up getting that job, and I ended up going up there and helping him do that. So we totally patterned them out and did one like a teal color. The other one we did like pink.
Well, how big are they?
Dude, they're huge. They were just I-beams. So they were probably about this big,
right.
But they were like 12 feet tall. I did that, and then I've been all over the world, man. I've been to Japan. I've been to Spain. I've been to Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Did you work
striping?
In these places?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I went to Buenos Aires in 2019 to a custom culture show down there.
Okay.
And I striped some stuff and got to hang out with some artists down there. It's so different when you go to different places because we're so used to the way things smell. You've been around paint for a long time, so you smell lacquer thinner. The difference between lacquer thinner and mineral spirits, reducer, retarder. Over there, man, I couldn't tell the difference. I don't know. It was so weird. It was very different. Yeah, but it worked the same.
So what'd you do in Japan?
So in Japan, I went out there with Center Roots, this artist out there named Masanobu Nakani, and I met him actually at a bike show in Spain, because I got invited out there in 2010 or 11. Me and Steve DeMann went out there,
okay,
and I met this artist from Center. This shop here is called Center Roots. He's a phenomenal artist, man, like out of this world. So I met him in Spain, and then he came to the United States, and he came to stay with me. And then he was like, "Hey, man, you got to come out here to Japan," so I was like, "Yeah, I have to." So I went to Japan 1 year, and then the next year I actually went with my best friend Jerry. So I went twice, and we went out there to the Joints Bike Show.
Did you have fun?
Oh, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. He
different culture.
Yeah, I love it. They make you feel very special. They're so respectful, and they just take the time to be nice to each other and communicate. I don't know if it's like that for them, but that's how it is for me every time I go. And when I talk to other people that have been visited Japan, it's the same. Their culture is just very respectful and very, nice, man. I don't even think they have cuss words. They're very minimal,
Did you help them in that department?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can show you guys. I get some words.
Yeah. Well, because they knew I was from America. So, yeah. I embody everything that is America.
There you go.
I like to eat a lot, drink a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
The embodiment of America. That's great.
Yeah. We'd go to Moe's Burger. I had to get 3 combos, man, because their hamburgers were this big, right? No soda. So I went there with him and worked with him and helped him do a bike.
So you have been all over the world.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to Spain. Spain was cool too. I wanted to travel.
How old are you?
I'm 45.
Yeah, you're not done yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not done yet. But then I took this job as a teacher, so it's going to be a summer thing now.
Okay, right? So let's talk about this teaching job. So this is kind of unique. When you first told me about it, it's like, well, that's kind of a different way to go about life here from what you're doing with this. So how did that fall in your lap, or did you chase this? I mean, how did this?
I think I just like we talked about. I think I was just getting a little bit stagnant and overwhelmed here at work, because it was like, is this what I'm going to do with my life? That's it? I'm just going to be here serving? Because that's, as an artist and as a owner proprietor, that's what we do. And especially me, myself, I'm very accommodating. So I'm very, like, I don't like to let people down. And as a business owner, that's hard. I only took one day off. I have 3 kids. So I would only take Sundays off, and I'd be, worrying about the shop constantly, or getting texts from customers when I'm at the fair, or getting texts from customers when I'm at Disneyland, or texts from customers when I'm eating dinner with them. And so it was like, man, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? And so I always enjoyed teaching. I was teaching with bugs. I coached airbrush and pinstriping classes. And a guy here, my neighbor, came by and saw me teaching. And so he was like, hey man, they're hiring at this high school, as a shop instructor for auto body. Would you be interested? And I'm like, yeah, I'll go talk to the guy and see. So I went to the school and checked out the campus and the facility they had. State of the art booth, 20,000 square foot shop, huge bays, wide open, huge, man. So much potential there. I mean, I have a classroom, I have another classroom, and then I have a whole I got 12 doors, And so I seen this, and I was like, man, this is amazing. This place has a lot of potential. So I'm thinking I'm gonna turn this place around, and I'm gonna make everybody custom painters, and right, and I want to show these guys what's up, and I'm gonna make a difference, So I got hired.
Okay, so did you have to work on a teaching degree or anything?
Yeah, so they turned my work experience, and I did a few letters of recommendation, and they're gonna let me do my CTE instruction during my teaching.
Okay.
So I'm getting my credential right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm taking classes online, and I have 2 years to do it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because they had to observe me. They observed me teaching the class, and I would do my classes here in my shop, and I just enjoy it, man. I love teaching, and I love seeing people discover something that they didn't know they had. I think that's real special to me, is that pinstriping is a very unique form of art. It's something that I've studied for a long time, and it's so unique because it's not like regular art, but you are an artist, but you're not, because of the labor side of it, right? And it's that execution side where it's like, if I stripe a Cadillac, double lines, and if that rear quarter passenger is a little bit crooked, the whole job's ruined. You basically suck. There is no oh, well, you did, 95% of it looks good. It's where it's like an artist has a canvas, splat here, splat there. This is worth $5 million now. And it's like, pinstriping is not like that.
No, it's not.
And so it's like, I realized man, this is such a special craft. And if you can do it, even a little bit, you should be proud of yourself. You have something in you, obviously, that if you practice at this and let it develop, you can do something with it and make things look better.
So you're teaching school, so you're creating these young minds and ruining them. And
yeah.
Did you get to do what you wanted to do, talking about making a bunch of custom painters? Is that the way you went? Or did you have to kind of rethink of how you were doing the teaching?
Both.
Yeah.
Both, because I realized that I'm not talking to a bunch of young me's and young Brads. I'm talking to different kids, that grew up completely different with different goals and different mindsets, The maturity level's not there, right? So they're still children, man. It's not like they're like us, where it's like, hey, man, it's almost like they're just this pack of sheep, man, and there's a huge cliff, and you're just kind of shepherding them because they don't know that cliff is coming, dude, right? Because it's you guys don't know, man. This is the best part of your life right now. It's gonna get very hard after high school. You don't know that until you live it, right? And I'm 45 now, and I know it, and I know how bad life can get. It's hard. Life is very hard, and it's not always, it's like the saying goes, man. Man makes plans and God laughs. And that's what I love about this craft, is that it's not something that anybody can do. You need to perfect it. You need to study at it, and just it's a lifetime of practice. I'm 45 now. I still don't think that I'm that good. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I still think every day I striped something yesterday and I'm like, hey, that came out all right, but I could have done better.
It never goes away. Just
I'm
going to give it a hit. It doesn't, because you go, man, I could have done that
Exactly.
better. It just, and you could go, it's dead on, but it could have been better here.
Yeah.
Or here. And
the aspect of creating with it is like, I love that part of it, because designing is like a whole art to itself. I've watched guys, there's this one piece that in my mind that always sticks out to me that was just like, I think embodies the art. And it's Bugs had this piece hanging in his shop in Arizona, and it was just a little frame like this, and it was just one scroll. It was just a very simple scroll, with like 2 different colors. And it was just, I would look at it because, he has a bunch of cool shit in there, man. I mean, I'm talking like, the stuff we do at Christmas time, the Dennis Jones panels and the Phil Whetstone, all this amazing. But it was just that little frame that was like, that's it, man. Like, you did it right there. Like, that's all that years of practice and work. And it just hits. It's like the McDonald's logo, right? The Coca-Cola logo. The Coca-Cola logo is like world renowned, right? Like, you can be anywhere and it's right away. It's a visual thing. And that's what that was to me. It was like, that's pinstriping right there, because
that's
it just
awesome.
embodied everything that like we work for. Because, I've watched, I study striping, man. Rick Lifts and Tom Kelly and Dean Jeffries, Larry Watson, Von Franco, Ed Roth, Jimmy C. I study their work. Even like the new stripers that come out, like the East Coast people, the way they stripe, and
there's a lot of talent out there.
So much talent, right? But it's like, it's just there's certain pieces that like, it's just like, man, that's it. That's pinstriping, right? And I don't know if it's because of the way it's balanced or because of the way the weight is or what it's on. But like, if you notice in my shop, I just have pictures of striping everywhere, because it's just like, damn, you did it.
So you teach school, you're teaching kids, and you're also teaching pinstriping classes.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different mindset, because now you're trying to teach how to be an artist. It's no longer just the basics. The kids, like you said, they're just sheep. You need to listen to what I'm telling you to do.
Yeah.
It's a little different mind. You're teaching them, but you have to also kind of want to go after this stuff.
Yeah.
So, just the brush is going to do this. Kind of want you to hold it. However you want to hold it. Hold it with your elbow. What does it matter? That's what we're trying to accomplish with it.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the students that you go, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be really, really good at this if you stick with it.
And I did it, throughout the year. I would kind of break the brush out and I stripe something, and they'd come over. Sometimes it'd be like 10 kids that would come over. Sometimes it would be none, right? Because I would show them how to flame. If you look at the job, it's not perfect, but the kids did it, right? And so some days they come over, and then towards the end of the year, I realized, you know what? I'm gonna make it hard for them. So I'm gonna be the old school guy now, and just tell them they ain't good enough to learn how to stripe. So I switched it on them. So they come over, hey, can we stripe? Nope, you can't. You ain't good enough. You need to show me that you want to do it.
You kind of did it differently because you could focus on it for 6 months at a time. You were way everything I did, because that's all you had to do. That was your spare time.
Yeah.
Sitting on a boat, practicing.
I got the timing was perfect.
And pretty soon the brush is like becoming second. It's like, okay, I can.
Oh yeah.
Overnight almost.
Yeah.
Nobody gets that 6 months of just that is their life where you get to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where you weren't doing it to please anybody. You weren't doing it for any. I wasn't doing it for any other reason than for myself. I wasn't doing it to come home, make a bunch of money. I wasn't doing it to become the guy, like the baddest pinstriper that ever lived. I was doing it because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed creating. I enjoyed seeing that, because I myself didn't even call myself an artist until like 5-6 years ago. And then I realized, you know what? I am an artist. I am an artist. I know what I like. I know how things are supposed to look. I know that the way I want to see things. I know that I have foresight. So, a custom car, I know how it's supposed to look. I know that, and like it takes a certain mindset to have that, and I just had to let that develop. And that's what I try and teach my kids now in high school, is that, dude, all of us have the ability to become something greater than what you think, I think society really puts a damper on everyone it's almost like an insecurity. You know, when I teach my striping classes, you know, I'm like, dude, don't be afraid, man. If you want to stripe a design, do it. But you need to do it. Like you can't just, because we all have ideas in our head of a design, right? But how many times have you had an idea and actually done it? You know, I always tell myself, I want to be like Tom Kelly, man. I want to stripe every day. I want to come in this. And Tom Kelly, I met him at Syracuse in like 2004. I met Tom Kelly. I was with Hot Dog.
Okay.
Right, we got invited out to the East Coast Artie's, you know, party thing, right?
Artie's party.
Got invited to Artie's party. So, and I never met none of these guys, man, right? And I know all the SoCal guys.
Well, Glenn's the lunatic.
I didn't get to meet him. Weisenberger?
Yeah.
I didn't get to meet him.
Glenn's the nut.
Yeah, he's amazing, man. Amazing talent. I love that guy's art.
He's great.
All those guys. So I ended up meeting the East Coast guys, and I was so used to the SoCal guys, right? And I meet these guys, and these guys are like brothers, man. They all like love each other, and like, right. Oh man, oh it's great, and they were so nice. And I'm like, dude, Howie and Mikey Frederickson and Bruce the Brush, and I met all these guys. I was like, dude, I've been reading about you guys in these magazines, like Auto Art and like the magazines I would pick up at McLogan's, and here they all are in front of me, and they were like super cool dudes. Mr. J.
Mr. J's great.
He's such a nice guy, you know, and I think that they're not hard on each other like we are out here, man. Like we out here in Southern California, we like to bust each other's balls and like, you sure about that? You know,
sure.
You gonna leave that like that? You know, and those guys just do whatever. They're like, oh, great job, Julian. You know, so you know, it's like, so I'm out there with all these guys, and they was just, dude, I remember being so happy. I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. And then they're like, well, Tom Kelly's coming. We got a special guest, Tom Kelly. And I'm like, who's Tom Kelly? Oh, you never heard of Tom Kelly? His grandpa was the Baron, and he used to work with Roth and this. And I was like, wow. And I was like, I think I have heard of him before because he painted big semi trucks in Downey, right?
A long time.
And I was like, there's no way that could be him because he's like older. No way, dude. That guy showed up and just.
It was the guy, wasn't it?
Dude, that guy's just amazing. The whole experience of being around him, it was so influential, man. It was a very pivotal moment in my life to see somebody like that like just created like on the spot, you know, like just, he would come up to me. I don't know if he knew it. Like, I don't know if he knew the power he had over me, but he would like come over and like mess with me, you know? I remember I was messing around with a quill, and I mean, I've been striping for like 4 years. So I was like, and he goes, what are you doing with that? And I was like, oh, hey, Tom. Oh, I'm just trying to, he's like, let me see it. He took it from me and he pallets it, man, like wet, like watery. And he does this, he goes on this panel, he does this huge scroll, and he's just going, dude, it was like Harry Potter, dude. And then at the end, he does like an old English R, you know, and I was just like there with my, and he goes, here you go, son. And I'm like, oh my God, how'd you do that? Right?
So there you go, somebody to aspire to be. It's like, I want to be like that. I want to have complete control over what I do, and you do now. You really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm so glad that I fell into this because there's so much talent, you know, and so many people that I have met, you know, like yourself and Tony from Arizona. He's just an animal too, man. I watched that guy stripe, just like nothing, man. Like they snap their fingers and the car's done. It's not like being a fine artist or graphic designer. It's anybody could like, you know, it's like people go to art school and then go and have like galleries, and it's like, you know, it's like, well, that's cool, man, but like there's no notoriety, or maybe there is in their circle, but in this circle, if you make it, it's like making it around the sharks, man. Like you survive.
But you have to be able to do a little bit of everything. You know, you got to do the little detail stuff. You got to be able to pull lines. You know, outlining films. You got to, you know, and you can't have fat. It's got to be.
It's got to be 100%.
It's got to be good. And I tell that to younger guys. It's like don't concentrate on doing shoes or cell phones. Those are kind of irrelevant. You need to learn how to control your brush. Learn brush control. You can't do that go out and stripe stuff.
Yep. Yeah, helmets and motorcycles and cars, you know, and do stuff. Yeah. It's challenging.
Like you did in the Navy. You learn brush control in a very short period of time because you had nothing else to do.
Like you said, I started doing surfboards, you know, and anybody that was surf, I got, hey man, let me stripe your surfboard.
That's cool.
And lockers, and then like some of the equipment on the ship, I started pinstriping on, you know. So I just kept trying. And then I remember the straight line stuff was, because I always did designs, but when I got to Hot Rod City, it was like, that was real striping, and I was like, I think I can do it. And then there was a local striper here named Robert Gagnon, who was an amazing striper. You hear Robert?
I know he is.
I remember being at Hot Rod City, and he came and did stripes and graphics for Benny, and they were like, "Hey, you think you can do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that." Yeah, right, man. I've been striping for like a year, right? So I go look at Robert's lines, and I'm like, "There's no way he did this with a hand," because there was no inconsistency, man. It was just solid straight line. I remember watching him pull up too. He had a white truck. He'd pull up, open the bag, and I was like, I just watch him and all this little stuff he had, and I was like, oh, it's so cool, man. That must be the coolest job in the world to be able to do that, And so he'd come and stripe a car, and so the next day I remember Benny's like, hey, I'm gonna let you try tomorrow, so you better practice, right? So I'm like, all right. So I went home and I'm like, what am I gonna practice on? So I remember I had like an old surfboard, like a longboard. I think my neighbor gave it to me. And I tried to do straight lines on it, man, and they kept going crooked and fat. And I was like, man, this is really hard.
It's really hard.
So I go the next day, and Benny's like, you ready? And I'm like, no. I don't think I can do it. And so at that point, he's like laughing, right? He's like, come on, man, just try it. I'm like, all right. So I tried it, man. I think I went like 12 inches, and it was like, brrr. And I was like, he's like, you need more practice. And it's like, it shows you through life how to adapt and get over those situations and just take it and just move on.
You get mad, you say a few bad words and then go back and do it again. I mean, what do you do? It's like, I got to do it. If I don't, somebody else is going to, and I don't want to lose the gig. So you have to learn how to take the bad and the good. And
that's something that I try and instill in the kids in the high school. Is that like, dude, you're going to fail. You're going to do something, and you guys need to learn how to deal with it. And that's the problem now, though, is that like we are creating a society where we don't want to do that to people. We want to let them know
their feelings. Like, no,
dude. And it's like that's what's happening right now. I think it's a culture that's happening to our world right now, and it's like and the pendulum needs to go the other way, man, because it's really affecting things.
It's hard. I mean, failure is hard. You just have to learn how to get back up and do it again. I mean, that's nothing is life. Easy. I don't care what you do. Everything is hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That is just life.
If you try, you're gonna fail. Yep. And it's like, so what do you do? Don't try? And that's honestly, that's what some people teach their kids.
They don't want to do anything because they don't want to fail. They don't want to. They don't want to experience that. So they want to try new things because they don't think.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid of failure. You obviously not. It's like, well, give it a try. What's the worst? Worst, I got to wipe it off and redo it.
And as we get older, you learn how to deal with it better, but you have to deal with it at any age. So that's why I'm glad that I got the opportunity to go teach at the school, because I'm there to, I kind of like wake them up, man. Like, hey, this is how things are. This is how things work. And other teachers are just there, and I don't know how they work, but I know that a lot of the kids will tell me, like, hey man, you're like the only teacher this year that really showed me how things are gonna be, and like I'm grateful for that. I got a few notes from people and the kids.
You kind of found your secondary calling here.
Yeah, I think so.
You can do this and you can do this. This is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important because I'm trying to make things better for all of us. I believe that if you want to change your nation, you got to start with your community. And it's like, so I put my money where my mouth is. Well, I'm going to go try it, And yeah, it's hard. And yeah, I kicked my ass. And yeah, I wanted to cry one time or two, but...
Who's the big guy in the corner crying?
I was like,
leave alone, man.
Dude, I'd leave school and come here to my shop and be like, why did I leave, dude? I could have just been right here working and being great. Being great. Yeah. I suck at this other thing. Being great at my shop. I was doing great here. Everybody likes everything I do.
It'd be great.
Over there, I just sit there and get abused by these kids. I'm like, damn it. So, but it worked out really good, man. I made a lot of good things, and it's a positive experience. So,
well, obviously you're affecting the kids too. A lot of the kids like you, going, I like this guy.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to be one of that's good. You're going to be one of those that they won't forget. That's
Yeah. So it's been a real good journey. I'm glad.
So what's the next step? You have any goals you haven't achieved yet that you really want to go after, or what do you got out there?
Just honestly, man, I want to help my kids, my own kids, and hopefully they succeed and push them along. And then I want to build, finish building my because I just got another car. I got a 49 Chevy, so I want to build that and keep it. I always sold everything I had, like a dummy. But I want to keep striping. Like my goal is to just keep striping and keep traveling and keep making connections with people, and travel, man. Like travel and make friends in other places, not necessarily just go and see, but like really like immerse myself in the lifestyle of different cultures, like Argentina and Uruguay and Brazil and anywhere, man. Japan, China. I love to just go to these places and just pinstripe
suck it up and
see what you practice a different form of art. I don't know if you've heard of fileteado porteño, but that's the type of art, the striping they do in Argentina. It's called fileteado.
Okay.
And it's this really ornate scroll work that they do with their lettering that they've done for years, man. And retire from the teaching job, maybe. I don't know. It scares me to think that. Like, am I really gonna be out of high school for the next 20 years? Am I gonna make it?
Am I gonna make it?
I don't know, dude. I mean, it's cool because
I do this.
Yeah, dude, it's scary because it's like it's hard. It's not easy, man. You try to let it affect you, but it does. I try really hard to keep it business and not worry about it too much, but you go home and you're thinking about the kids and the high school kids and what am I gonna do, man? What am I gonna do next week? And how you keep these people engaged.
You're a good teacher. This is a sign of a good teacher right here. You are worried about it.
I know.
Just show up and get by with a minimum. You're putting effort in.
No. Because it's a waste of resources and a waste of humanity. Because these are other human beings that are making our community. Why would I go there to milk it? And that's honestly why I took the job. Because I was thinking to myself, dude, if somebody else comes in here, they're not going to know what to do with this. They're going to waste this resource. And that's my tax dollars that are being wasted and yours, And it's like, I need to do my industry a favor and come in here and give it my best and make these people great and try and make them great and have them see hope for the future. Instead of just saying like, oh, you got a job at Walmart? Not that it's bad, but it's like, there's more out there, man, that you can do. And I'm here to teach you the skills to get those jobs and go work with Chip Foose or whoever, Caliber Collision, or be a painter. Because, a collision painter's job is very hard. It's very demanding. And I have a lot of respect for those guys, man. That's to me, it's a skill. And that's what I'm trying to teach these guys. I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, let's just paint these little silly panels and do a little body work. It's like, no, dude, there's real careers out there that you can have. I'm trying to teach these guys that, hey, we have the resources here. I want to show you how to use them. Technique and spray guns and how they work and things like that. How to blend a panel, how to shoot a silver, metallic, whatever. And so that's what I try and teach them. And it's like, that's what I'm trying to teach you, is that you yourself can become an asset.
That's right. You don't need me.
You don't need me. Exactly. You're the asset.
Fix it. You're the guy.
You're not just some guy working at Chick-fil-A.
What else is there in life? I'm not going to pick anybody working fast food like you are. You're not picking on, but it's like, there's other things out there. If you want to do that, knock yourself out. But if you want to,
you can create your own market.
Learn something. Make your own market.
And so that's why I've got blessed with trying to help people out. So it was like, to me, it was like a challenge that I took. And I knew if I would have said no, that opportunity wouldn't have came around again. So I had to say yeah.
You're a hero, man. That's hero stuff.
Oh, thanks.
I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't work with a bunch of high school kids. I like my sanity, what little I have.
Dude, I know. I'm telling you, man, it was a big difference because I was like, when I teach my pinstriping classes, these people want to be here, But I'm over there and it's like, man, it's hard. But this year was really good. It was really good.
Manny, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Brad.